Sit on down and pour yourself a glass.
And tune into your favorite podcast,
where things will be misquoted
and opinions ain't sugar-coated.
'Cause DJ and Kelly are locked and probably loaded.
Hey guys, this is DJ Qualls, and welcome to Locked and Probably Loaded with DJ and Kelly. Hey Kelly.
Hey, what's going on?
How are you?
I'm great. How
I
are
am
you?
jet lagged to fuck.
Really?
Yes, I've been the last time. So I'm always like, I don't always want to. I'm never going to pretend that we are current, right? Like we are 3
Oh,
weeks.
right.
So
Yeah, we're
time,
pretty honest about where you're
we were
going.
last time we recorded was 3 weeks ago. I think we're a week behind now, right? So this will come out in
It doesn't
3 weeks
matter.
from now.
It doesn't matter.
The math. It's like that equation. It's like that meme where there's an equation above somebody's head when
Yeah.
they're thinking about something. Everything is too hard. So I just got back from Germany. I had a supernatural convention there. We did Purgatory 8 and set a record for, I think, a German supernatural convention. There were thousands of people there. I was a little. Oh, and by the way, before I get into this, thank you guys so much for your congratulations. It is not new news to us that we are getting engaged, but it's new news to you guys, and I understand the sort of newness of it and the questions that it brings. But we are here for the congratulations. Thank you so much, and for the rest of it, it's none of your business.
I will say it was the first time I'd ever seen a celebrity relationship announced where genuinely the majority of the comments were really fucking supportive.
Like
great. The supernatural fandom came through and were like so kind about it. And really the only time I saw bad comments were people who people.com came across their feed and they're like,
yeah,
I've been a homophobe my entire life. Like,
and this is not
and you're not
going
gonna
to
make me stop.
I used to like that guy, but now I got to think about him having sex with another man over and over and over again.
It's like, you actually don't have to think about what anybody fucking does.
I gotta lay awake at night next to my wife and think about that all the time.
I have to masturbate to the thought of Benny and Garth
and superimpose their faces.
I have to film myself bowing down to the naked statues of the werepire
that I created.
With my bare hands, my woodworking shed. Like,
exactly.
It's fine.
But it was overwhelmingly positive. Thank you guys so much. But that's it. It's not to be traded on. Like, all the major media outlets reached out to me and to Ty, and we appreciate you guys reaching out and showing your interest. But it's not for sale. Well, at least not at those prices. But we appreciate it, and I didn't read a lot of it. I got bits and pieces of it. The thing, I actually sent Ty an email and apologized to him and he didn't need an apology, but I felt I need to say it out loud. I was like, I actually, my birthday is in the newspaper, so of course this would be news. Yeah. And I didn't think about it because this happened. We got engaged back in August, and I just mentioned it in context about what Supernatural had given me on our last episode, or 3 episodes ago. The math is hard. And I didn't really think about it, but I probably should have. And that is my learning curve in going forward and being married, is that I want to, not have to, think about how things affect somebody else.
Yeah, and protect the relationship.
Yeah. And so enough about that. Kelly, to lead us into the heart of our show, to the guts of our show, and what we'll be talking about today, which we actually have no idea. I have a question for you to start this off.
Okay.
Hold on, let me find it. Fuck, marry, kill. Saddam Hussein, Donald Trump, Hitler.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Who's the richest out of them? It would have been Saddam, probably right?
Saddam.
So I might have to marry him.
Okay, that's a wise choice.
I would fuck Hitler because I think I could change his mind about some things.
Hilarious.
Like, I'm talented in some things. Yeah, okay. I think I could keep him busy enough to not
need to go outside every day, you know? And I would kill Trump because
Exactly.
I couldn't even pretend to fuck him in my imagination.
Could you
land.
imagine?
No, I couldn't.
Oh, Saddam Hussein was worth $2 billion,
Yeah.
which I think is 1,999,000,000 more than Donald Trump.
Yeah. And he died when he was 69. Nice.
Yeah, exactly. He knew what he was doing.
You didn't expect me to answer that
No,
so quickly,
I didn't. I thought you were telling me to fuck off.
Listen, I'm here to play ball. He is
everything
not worth
I do,
7.5 billion.
every text I send to Kelly, every question asked, it's always a trap. Because
Yes.
I expected you to do this. Now, who would you fuck, marry, kill? And I'm like, I'm not answering that. I'm on television.
Yeah, that's why I just answer things now, because I go, you know what? I don't care what you would say, but what would you do?
I'm not answering that. I'm on television.
Don't cancel me. I had to do it. It was gun to head. But I take those things seriously. Like on the Unsolicited podcast, which is mine with Jack and Tommy, we do a lot of
It's a
like
really great podcast. I
would
love
you
Jack and
rather, and we don't really play fuck, marry, kill, but we play a lot of would you rather, and we take that shit seriously. Like we talk,
Like you get into it.
Yes, we get very into it. We talk about like what the restraints would be, or like are there rules on these things, and we could do a would you rather and stretch it for 20 minutes and change our mind multiple times through it. So when it comes to these games, I'm like, everybody should recognize it's a game, so I'm going to play
Yeah,
it.
you're going all in.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the things I like about you is that you are all into whatever you're doing.
Yeah, you have to stop giving a fuck what people think, right? We were talking about
Yeah.
that in the car.
Yeah, we were just talking about this on the way over here.
It's freedom.
I really am at my most peaceful and content right now. I feel like I'm going through a kind of a renaissance. Like I am in the, people love to say no fucks given. Like, and if people say things too many times, it's because they're trying to
They mean
not.
the opposite.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
trying not to give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like I have a dear friend that would go through a breakup, and then I would see her eating, she would post a video of herself eating chocolates in a bathtub. Like, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you do protest too much. But I've reached this area of my life where I just don't. It's not, and the thing is, it's not an active don't care. It is I just don't fucking care. I don't care if I don't work again. I don't care. I mean, I like what I do for a living. I'm good at it. And I am good at it. But I also feel like I've had that experience. So I think I'm open to whatever comes next. And I'm okay with whatever happens. But also, I pivot like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
If something stops earning for me or it doesn't work, then it's survival instinct. I think it's probably the result of growing up gay in the South. Like, wit was developed as the gay Uzi because it's all we had. It's
Right.
like and then the art of the pivot, I think, is what I've developed in entertainment because I felt like I wasn't on the inside of it for most of my career. And I was basically going over like sort of my life in the shower today is where I do all my best thinking. I was like, I've always had this complex of never being one of the cool kids. And like, do you know how you'll show me something, or I'm like, how does everybody in the world seem to know about this thing before I know about it? And even like I collect art, and in the art world, there's always a next big thing, or this is happening, and I'm always the last to know. If there's a meme stock, I'm the last person to know about that. And it always made me feel like I wasn't one of the cool kids. And then I realized I'm cool as fuck.
Yeah.
I don't need,
just because you're not online
do you know
24/7
why I don't
doesn't
know
mean you're
about
not
this
cool.
shit? Because I don't need to.
Right.
I got other things going on.
Yeah. I had
Like masturbating and watching TV.
Yeah, I had a bit of a realization the other day, which I think kind of ties in, but I had talked about on a previous episode where a lot of my self-worth, even into my 20s, came from being able to pick things up easily, or being a high achiever, or
being good
at my
oral.
job, or good at oral. Would have saved a lot of people. But I was never really individually competitive. Like, I was a swimmer all growing up, and I moved over to volleyball, even though I was a much better swimmer, because I just didn't fucking really care about
But you were
winning.
team competitive,
I was
though, right? You're
Yes,
team
of
player.
course. Like, I would always put it out there, but I'm also not the type of person who's gonna fucking cry if I lose. Like,
Yeah.
I get that people are super passionate, but that was never who I wanted to be or needed to be or whatever.
but I was always miserable, even though I was high achieving and all that stuff, because there's so much pressure to maintain that, right? And if you're used to being at the top and all of a sudden you fall down to second or third or something, then everybody acts like it's this big deal. There's a lot of pressure to maintain that, and when you don't have the fire within yourself to do that, it's a miserable place. And I was trying to figure out, I'm like, why am I happy now when I don't have any money. I don't have any of this success that like I would have had in other places. But it's like, it's because I actually like who I am. Yeah. Like I'm proud of who I am as a person. And my achievements are not
fucking dope.
Oh, thanks. But it's like, yeah, I am not my achievements. I live my life trying to do the right thing and be kind to people and do all that stuff. And I get to do stuff with people I love and be creative and have fun. And that's good enough for me.
And that's enough.
I would like more money, though.
Dude, who wouldn't? The whole time you were talking, I was supporting you and saying congratulations on realizing how dope you are. And then you start talking about money. And I'm like, and then you lost me because I'm like... Yeah, but I can't. Man, I do need money.
No, yeah, I would like to make a living, but you know, I don't need to be like I'm in no competition with anybody at this point in my life.
You actualize things, right? Like you what's it called? Manifest, right? Mm-hmm. When you manifest, do you ask for things like I just want to make a living, or do you ask for the moon? Do you manifest the moon?
Well. Manifesting, in my opinion, is the most powerful when you're like trying to attract a feeling, right? So it's like I'm always going to shoot for the moon, but really the goals are to achieve certain feelings, right? If I wouldn't need millions of dollars, I want to be in a place where I'm like, I can pay my bills and I can have fun and I can not think about money. I cannot have money be at the center of every thought process.
But here's the thing. As you reach the threshold of minimum manifestation,
you always
suddenly will get to a place where if your hamburger doesn't have enough mustard on it, you'd rather be dead.
Yeah, but I think that's kind of the point of trying to figure out a way to be happy with who you are in any moment. And it's the same with like transformations, right? Losing weight. People always assume like, well, once I get down to my goal weight, like I'll be happy. But no, you'll just pick another fucking thing to hate on.
Yeah, 100%.
So you have to figure out a way to get to love yourself in the moment you're at, because then you those are just new goals. It's not like I'll be much happier when. Right. I feel really happy right now in my life, and that is not a fucking emotion that I feel like that. This might be the first time in my life that I'm like, I've been consistently happy for a long time. Yeah.
I mean, I think that a lot of the people that try, like trying is hard, hope is hard.
Yeah.
And I feel that people who have big aspirations and set big standards for themselves often fall into the trap of I will be happy when this happens. Mm-hmm. And then that happens. You're like, why am I not happy? Yeah. Oh, it's because I don't have this. Mm-hmm. And that's a big trap. We see this a lot growing up. I mean, like living in Los Angeles. I say growing up because I think I became an adult here. I've been here for 25 years. And you sort of too, right? You spent your whole adult life.
I'm coming up on 20 years.
Yeah. And so, but we're surrounded with sort of Neverland, and people get stymied and stifled in making life choices because they're like, I will choose to do this part of my life when this happens. Mm-hmm. And so, like, I have friends who've been here for 20 years and don't have agents, and I'm like, and their relationships suffer because of it. It's like, I can't worry about the personal part until this part's done. Mm-hmm. I'm like, you just put yourself in jail.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of people who like hold themselves back from things unknowingly because they have a fear of what's at the next level, right? It's like, so they can make these excuses for why they're not at a higher point. It's like, oh, well, you know, I am going to do it, but I didn't get an agent, or I'm trying to think of a better example for this. I can't right now, but I feel like a lot of a little bit, but a lot of people have these mental blocks that you'll never get there, but you're using some excuse as a crutch, I guess, to justify why you haven't gotten there. And it's like, well, you really actually haven't put yourself out there completely. Exactly. Is what I'm trying to say.
I mean, you can use the fact that the shit that hasn't happened that you want happen yet. You can use that as an excuse to not do anything.
Yeah, exactly.
And I refuse. Pivot like a motherfucker. Listeners at home, pivot. If things aren't happening for you,
throw up the Friends screen where I'm just kidding.
My grandfather, the best advice he ever gave me, beside this. He told me never to put my penis anywhere I wouldn't put my mouth first. That's the best advice I've ever gotten. Sage advice, Grandpa, wherever you are in the universe.
He's watching.
The other best advice he gave me was this: if you don't know what to do, don't do anything, but have the wisdom to know when that doesn't work anymore. I mean, that is really good advice to understand. Like, I'm not under any obligation to run out and blindly toward opportunity or sort of live in angst. Just live your life, wake up, go to bed, try to do better the next day. But you have to have the wisdom to realize when that doesn't work for you anymore, and you have to pivot. You have to try something else.
Yeah. And for me, that's usually doing mushrooms. Speaking of, actually.
Yeah, you went to a concert while I was in Germany.
Yeah, I went to Dead and Company, or the Grateful Dead, for if people don't recognize that name, at the Sphere in Las Vegas. And it was one of the best fucking days of my life. So if you guys aren't familiar with the Sphere, it's a sphere in Las Vegas, but you go in, it's a concert venue, and it's all generated screens, and so they can put up any images that they want. And Grateful Dead is kind of known for trippy visuals and stuff like that. And I decided to do mushrooms there, which you definitely don't need to do mushrooms at the Sphere to feel like the visuals are trippy, but I did. But it felt like the day was so serendipitous because there really was no reason for me to go to that show. Like, I'm not a big concert person. I don't know the Grateful Dead at all. I didn't have money for the ticket, so my friend Bianca was like, "That's okay. I just want you to come with me." And so we stayed at Tommy's house. We brought Tommy along, who's a massive Deadhead. We went to...
I didn't know Tommy went.
Yeah, so he came with us, which was awesome because, like, he was pointing out things to us that we wouldn't have known, like, here's the history of this stuff, blah, blah, blah. We went to Shakedown Street beforehand, which is like, a couple streets where they've got vendors selling merch and all that stuff. We found this Airstream. We went in, found a bunch of people smoking weed. We went and sat in there for 2 hours, hung out with them. One of our listeners from Unsolicited came and hung out with us there, so I got to meet her. That was cool. Then we go to the show. We make friends with the people around us. I'm tripping balls at some point, because the visuals are just completely surrounding you. So at one point I get up and I'm standing towards the back of where the entrance to get in to our seating area was, because I just needed a second to fucking touch reality. And so I was there for 5 minutes, and the security guard was like, "Hey, I can't have you stand here too long." I was like, "Okay." I was just feeling a little motion sickness. I'll just go back into the lobby. And this other security guard follows me out, and he's like, "Are you okay? We can get you a chair to sit over here." I'm like, No, thank you so much.
But why do you have lobster hands?
He goes, I go, No, it's okay. I'm just gonna go ride the escalators. He goes, "Ride the escalators? There's nothing to see. Why would you do that?" And I go, "I'm tripping on mushrooms right now." He goes, "Oh, go ride the escalators."
There's everything to see.
It was so fun. So he became my friend. Terrell, shout out to you at the Sphere.
Hey,
you were my
Terrell.
Best friend that night. He checked in on me multiple times.
Thanks for looking after my girl.
But it was just the best. Mushrooms has always been such a great experience for me. It is it truly can pull me out of a depression because I find so much joy in the little things and the visuals and nature and all of those things. But it wasn't until then we got home and Tommy has me watching all these documentaries. So I watched 8 hours of Dead documentaries the next day. And I felt so connected to the band's messaging, which
it's
is
a trap.
No.
If you start fucking following the Dead,
I would
it
like
is
to go back to the
over.
Sphere.
I'm telling you, if you start thinking deodorant is a crystal rock that you rub under your armpits, if everything starts smelling like patchouli, if you start showing up in tie dye, it is over.
I would like to go to one more show at the
fine,
Sphere,
get one
but
more.
I can't imagine. I mean, I'm just not really a concert person. But what I liked was the band's messaging is very much have fun, be creative, do no harm to people, all of these things. And so it felt serendipitous going there because I'm this, if you believe in this, it feels like a fucking nudge from the universe. You're on the right fucking path. This.
I think that Fish also does this.
Yeah.
So my sister Ryan, hey Ryan, and her husband Chaz, hey Chaz, they like vibey shit, and they go and follow Fish around.
Tommy follows Fish
yeah,
as well.
so I think that's a thing too. I don't know a lot about it. But it sounds like a similar messaging, like a bunch of people gooned out of their brains, like all loving each other and having a communal time.
Yeah, it's just like there's just no judgment. It's come as you are, like let your freak flag fly. There are people in the audience just spinning. Multiple people got taken out on stretchers. But it was funny because when you're tripping, you're kind of looking around the crowd trying to find anybody sober. Because you're like, some people in here obviously are sober. The guy in front of me was, but you're looking around, you're like, oh, that person's probably sober. But because it's the sphere, then all of a sudden they turn around, they're like, and you're like, no, maybe they're tripping too. Fuck. So at one point I was in the lobby. I'm like, maybe I talked to this child because I'm 99.9% sure he's sober. I just wanted
the guy
somebody
you think
to
is
tell
sober turns around as this. Potatoes are wonderful. So I am in Germany, and it is.
You're gonna read the text.
It is, I think, like 3 o'clock in the morning my time or something like that. I roll over and to this. So I send Kelly, the last thing I sent is her. It's a picture of me and Ty, which I'll put up on the Patreon. It's a rainy day in Cologne, Germany. We took a day trip from Dusseldorf to Cologne to see the cathedral. And then we went to an amazing museum called the Ludwig, which is one of the best museums I've ever been to anywhere in the world. And I wake up to this at like 3:04 a.m. I'm gripping balls at Dead & Co. Is this real? And then I said, ha 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 ha. I forgot you were there. You're fine. And then you sent me a picture of what looks like David Boreanaz surrounded by teddy bears.
It's John Mayer. And those are the dead bears.
Can they see this?
Wait.
You text it to me, I'll put it on.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll text it to you right now. So it looks like David Boreanaz. So I was mad confused about what the fuck was happening. Hold on. Let me send this to Isaac. I love this podcast because it's so unpolished.
Yeah, no,
Okay,
that's
hold on a
the
second.
best way to be.
Isaac's name is Isaac. Here we go.
Or you can put it in the loaded chat.
Yeah, but I want to send it to you directly, so you know I'm thinking about you.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so oh fuck, that made me miss my place in the thing. Isaac, you're
We
terrible.
text a lot.
Hold on, is that a penis?
Yeah.
The whole thing, I'll just put it on the screen.
I just sent it to you. Did you get it?
Did you send me the whole conversation?
No, I'm not that tech savvy. But let me get back to where I was. Hold on. There's the Hamburglar, some clowns.
That's
the new.
you still got to go deep.
The new menu items of Taco Bell.
No wonder you were on your phone the whole time I was telling my story. I was
Yeah,
like,
'cause
what
I'm
is he
trying to find
doing?
it.
You were scrolling back that entire
You
time.
talk to me too much. And there's the part where I mourned how bad the pizza puffs were from Little Caesars when I came back from Germany, and that's all I wanted. Okay, here we're getting to some familiar territory. Hold on. Let me just find David Boreanaz surrounded by rainbow teddy bears. Here we are. And then so I said, I forgot you were there. You're fine. David Boreanaz surrounded by teddy bears. And then I laughed out loud. And you're like, my brain is about to explode, I fear. The phone is the only shred of reality I have left. And I laughed and I said, you're fine. You got this. Life is crazy and this is your break. Enjoy it. It'll be over faster than you know, and you'll have to go back to reality. Reality sucks. I'm in reality right now, and I'd love to be there so high. I'm scaring myself. You said, oh, never mind. My phone is now morphing. Love you. And I was like, I love you too, to the moon and back. I'm going to desperately try to knock out for 2 hours. I'm going to do that and check back in with you when I wake up. 2 hours is no time at all. You got this. I totally forgot you were fucking there. I didn't even check in with you again. And then you said this. I'm good. It's not scary, but it's fucking nuts. Also a little motion sicky, but it's dope. And you're like, generally songs are how I figure out how much time has passed, but all their songs are 91 minutes long, so it could have been 10 minutes or 4 hours. Oh, my hands are melting. So then
I hadn't read those back.
almost 24 hours later, I totally forgot you were there because it wasn't about me. I mentioned this earlier on an episode of the podcast. I am the best person to tell a secret to, and that will not be told to anybody else. If it doesn't involve me, I will never remember it.
Yeah.
And then at 2:41 the next day, so 24 hours later, I survived. Good night.
It wasn't 24 hours later.
It was 24 hours later.
No, that was when we got home.
You're texting me at 3 o'clock. It's 12 hours later.
Yeah.
12 hours later. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a wild time. It
Yeah.
was a fucking great night. I loved it.
I'm glad you wouldn't do that.
And I'm not the type of person to encourage anybody to try any drugs. Like
Yeah, you wouldn't do that to me because you know that that would
Yeah.
not be a good environment for me because I freak the fuck out.
I am not that person at all. I am a person who handles mushrooms well because I have no problem letting go of control.
Yeah.
And I am very good
And
at
that's
saying
wise
I'm on
to
mushrooms.
know.
I'm on so I don't suggest them if you're somebody who doesn't like feeling out of your body, or
Who do you know that doesn't like feeling out of their body or
a
doesn't
lot
like
of
feeling
people.
out of control?
Yeah, or they're super paranoid or anxious. Yeah.
I hate. I've been on mushrooms 3 times, and one time was good. It was the first time. Both times after that went sideways on me,
Oh.
and it's because I am a control freak.
Yeah.
And I remember somebody came to visit me once in Vancouver, and she was like, "I really want to try MDMA," and I'm like, "You came to the right place for that." So I called somebody, had some delivered, and we had a great time. And it's something I do maybe twice a year. And I turned to her, and she had a look on her face, and I said, "Hey, blank, how are you?" And she turned to me and did this with a dead ass expression. Fine. And I'm like, "Hey, blank, you seem like you're kind of struggling there." And she was like, "I feel weird." I'm like, "Well, you took drugs, so
Yeah.
that is, it's kind of, you're going to be in an altered state." I mean, something. So finally, she was like, "I can't be in this enclosed environment anymore." I'm like, and then I am like, "Well, I feel fine." So a crowded bar, go.
Yeah.
Instead of taking her to a restaurant or a park or just a walk down the road, I'm like, let's go to a loud heavy metal bar called the Moose off on Granville Street in the busiest part of Vancouver. So I took her there. She was there for like 2 minutes. She was like, "I can't be here anymore." And I'm like, "Oh, right. So then my remedy was to take her to a noisy ass Irish bar.
Wow,
where she flipped
Jesus
out.
Christ.
And so then I got.
Do you hate this person?
No, it's because when you're like, I don't understand what you're going through right now because I feel completely
Right.
fine.
Yeah.
But also your choicing skills aren't the best when you are in an altered state. And so I didn't know how to remedy it. So she volunteered, "I'm going to take a cab home." I'm like, "That's a good idea," because now I'm worried. I'm getting scared. But I know for a fact that being at a Dead concert is not my environment.
Yeah.
It's really not.
I mean, it wouldn't, I don't think it would have been in any other. I really wanted to go to the Sphere, and this was an amazing opportunity to go, and our tickets were incredible. It was like something I couldn't turn down. Bianca's friend was going to watch Rhino, so everything kind of fell into place for me
was
to be able to
supposed
do
to be.
it. Yeah. So great time. Thank you, Dead and Company. Loved it.
Today's show brought to you by Beatbox and Dead & Co.
Yeah, we were drinking beatboxes at Shakedown Street.
Speaking of that, so Beatbox, the kind folks at Beatbox sent us a lot of cases of this tasty beverage, and I have to admit I was skeptical because I usually like carbonated beverages, and Kelly brought over 6 of the flavored variety and 6 of the teas, and I gotta say, I am a fan.
They're bomb.
They are fucking lethal. I'll say that. 2 of them, and you are gooned. So it's good value for money.
Yeah.
So thank you, Beatbox.
Yeah, I converted everybody
They're great
in Vegas.
Oh yeah, I saw Tommy in a pool. swimming
Yeah,
around
he
with
became a beatbox influencer.
Tommy's the host of a PBS show now,
yeah,
right?
Vegas All In.
Yeah, that's really really cool.
Yeah, he's the creative of it, so he's the one getting all these interviews and doing all this stuff with people. I think he's really enjoying it. His life is so constantly he's doing something cool every night.
It's on the
I don't know
screen
how
there
he has
right
the
now.
energy.
So, and his wife is the host of
Magic Mike Live.
Yeah, Magic Mike. So that's
Jacqueline.
That's
She's
the one that the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills went to.
Yeah,
and Sutton,
yeah.
And Sutton was so upset that they were simulating oral sex.
Yep.
Oh, come on, Sutton. I love you, but come on.
Yeah, so Jacqueline's the host of that, and she's a comedian, but she's also a dancer, so it's the perfect role for her.
I hate a fake prude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than somebody.
This is not about Jacqueline. This is about Sutton.
Yeah, because you can understand that. Because there's no worse behavior than when you see the psychology of it. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
You're doing it because
To put on a show for other people.
Yeah, it's performative.
Yeah.
And also, there's probably some shit involved in that. Like, you're from the South, women are supposed to behave in a certain way, and Convention sucks. It's not kind to anybody. Why are we so stuck on convention? Ty and I talked about this recently about, people, they're trying to ask us, we get asked really pointed, like, personal sexual questions about shit. And I'm like, you would not ask a male-female couple this stuff, but we understand why people are doing it. They're doing it because their brains are scrambling to try to put us into some sort of way that that it's understandable.
Digestible
for them. And what I told Ty was, convention has not been kind to either one of us. So why the hell would we want a relationship that bows to convention? It's a trap.
Yeah.
And it's a bad trap.
Yeah. And really at the end of the day, like, people are going, no matter what you do, people are going to talk shit about you. So would you rather have people talk shit about you for trying to be somebody else, or have them talk shit about you for just being yourself?
Yeah. I'd rather,
like, you get nowhere by pretending to be somebody else.
About me, about shit that I'm actually doing.
Yeah.
Because I remember years ago when right before I sort of became successful as an actor, I saw an interview with Madonna, and the interviewer was like, so I think it was a British guy, and he was like, so you've had sex with Dennis Rodman, and you've done this, and you've done that, like, sort of trying to call her whore. Mm-hmm. And so she listened to him, and she did this, so.
Right.
And the acknowledgement of that, I was like, the so is your power. And so I adopted something similar where I do this. I don't remember that, but that does sound like me. That sounds like something I would 100% do.
Yeah. That's why I tell people all of my shit, like, pretty early. Like, I'm a very open book. I'll say the shit I'm going through on here, because if I've told you this information, you can't use it against me.
Speaking about being honest about stuff, I just waxed my asshole, and
you didn't wait for the electrolysis machine or whatever.
It's $160. So we talked
one.
about this on a subsequent podcast. About targeting ads, right? Mm-hmm. They're reading your fucking mind. So
and your butthole.
And your butthole. So my family.
Send them the ad. It's getting hairy in here.
But I'm not even hairy, and I've been made to feel ashamed about it. So my great grandmother is Native American, or was Native American. So Native Americans are traditionally not hairy people. Like, I don't have, like, look at my arm. I have no arm hair.
Yeah.
I have no leg hair. I'm just not hairy at all. But is it nude? Is that what it is? N-O-O-D, the little, like, thing that you put, and there's like a peach with hair on it, and they put the little thing on the thing. But I was like, the targeting there it is. The targeting advertising, I think it's $160, really works. So then I start thinking about this, and I'm like, well, that's $160. Let's see what Amazon has up to offer. So I get some self-waxing strips, and I was a little tuned up and laying in bed. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna wax my asshole right now.
That's great. Have you ever done waxed yourself at all anywhere?
No, but here's the thing. I also can only trim my beard when I'm a little drunk. Because I hate doing anything practical.
I mean, but okay, those are two wildly different things. Like trimming your beard and deciding to wax your asshole when you've never waxed anything on your body.
It wasn't my asshole specifically. It was my ass crack. I mean, I didn't. You
didn't go to the hole.
No, I don't
don't
have anything in there.
You went to the Y part.
Yeah. So I did it. It was not my favorite.
Yeah.
It really hurt bad, and I pulled hard. I pulled hard and quick. So
it's not easy to do to yourself. I will say that the butthole is the easiest part of a Brazilian wax.
Okay, well, I should probably go somewhere.
I swear to God, it really is.
So we'll go somewhere and we'll film it for bonus content on our Patreon.
That's good because I would love to write that off because it's expensive as hell.
Is it expensive?
Yeah.
I will not shoot that. I will not shoot that.
No, but we can do it ourselves.
Isaac, give me a fucking break. Do you really think I'm gonna let him record just my asshole? It would be the whole thing.
So I think they're called. It's that Australian one, you know, where they're like, is it Nair? No, it's not Nair's. There's some Australian waxing kit. And so I ordered it on Amazon for like $10. I'm like, well, this is cheaper than $160. And they say they're reusable waxing strips. I don't know how you would do this. I glued my asshole shut. I glued my balls to my leg. It is impossible to get off, but it did remove the hair. And I gotta say, walking around in general life, there's a little pep in my step.
Yeah,
so I mean, maybe there's some science.
Post wax is an amazing feeling, but
they said I get 6
expensive.
weeks. They did it 2 weeks ago. How much is it?
It's like for a Brazilian, it's like $100-something.
That is ridiculous.
$140 or something.
That is ridiculous. Botox has $250.
Yeah, it's crazy, and you're going once a month. I was doing sugaring for a while, which is
that sounds
less painful.
It sounds dirty,
than
sugaring.
Well, it's they don't use any wax. It's a mixture of sugar and water and like honey or whatever, and they just keep using the same ball and they roll it over or whatever, and it's supposed to be less painful.
Is it less
it's about
painful?
The same.
So suddenly the nudes. Yeah, it was one of these things I used. It's on the screen right now. It was the one that was like whatever, $10 or like $16 or something like that. I wanted to try to have a smooth ass crack, but on a budget. But now suddenly the $160 doesn't seem so bad because you don't wake up with glued to your sheets.
Right. Yeah. And if you do it enough, I mean, the idea is that the hair doesn't grow back anymore after a while.
Oh, it's called Nads.
Nads.
Yeah. Remember that Australian infomercial? It's like, have you tried Nads?
I didn't know it was Australian.
It's Australian.
Are you just making that up because you think the word sounds
No.
Australian?
It is an Australian infomercial, and it's an Australian self-waxing kit. And these were Nads
Bearded
self-waxing strips. Nads. Hey Siri, show me Nads Australian. Like, show me some
Show me Australian Nads. Just gonna get a bunch of balls.
I found NASA available on Spectrum TV, but you'll need to get it from the App Store first. Of course.
Siri never comes through.
It wasn't that woman.
It's fine.
Anyway, I bought it. It wasn't for me. The problem with self-waxing kit is it
what's with the switching of the sunglasses?
because one is prescription and one is not. So my friend was engaged to a Greek billionaire named
blank.
Do I say it?
No.
Okay, I won't say it. Thank you, Isaac.
How many Greek billionaires are there?
Yeah.
It might be easy to figure.
My friend was engaged to a Greek billionaire, and I thought he was differently abled, but I realized he was just so rich he didn't have to learn anything. You can be so rich that you don't have to learn anything.
You're like actually not functioning.
When we moved
whatsoever.
them into their house, he bought this giant like marble mansion in Beverly Hills when they first got engaged, and we moved them in, and
wait, they moved into a mansion and they're like, hey friends, could you help us move? Well, I mean, we'll get pizza and beer.
Moving in means put that over there. So I was helping workers move stuff, right? So I think that lady's talking about Neds. Is she Australian?
Yep.
Oh yeah, it's Nads. Is it Australian?
Product launch in its category. This is such a remarkable achievement that we've decided to return to where it all began and really put this product to the test. What better place to start than the most gorgeous spot in the whole wide world? Guess where we're going?
Daytona Beach, Florida.
Down under. That means two things. Yeah, so it is Australian. So I ordered the Nad strips. I glued myself to my sheets.
Okay.
Long story short, I glued myself to my sheets.
Okay.
So anyway, my friend's engaged to a Greek billionaire. We're directing where boxes are placed in this giant. It looked like an '80s Coke mansion, like up in Beverly Hills, up in the post office area. And so, homie is so rich that they had this like 20-foot kitchen island made of marble, and he's sitting on it. It's July. And his ball is hanging out of his shorts. And so I did this. Hey, blank, your ball's hanging out of your shorts. And he looked down between his legs like a 5-year-old. I'm like, how are you that bendy? And did this. Well, it's my house. I'm like, that's fascinating. You're so rich, you don't know shame.
Yeah.
That must be amazing. And that's when I realized he wasn't differently abled. He was just really rich. Anyway, these sunglasses, when they broke up, at that point, he didn't like being in the mansion anymore, or she didn't like being in the mansion. So he bought this amazing penthouse in Santa Monica, so they could be near the beach. And when they broke up, he left like something like $400,000 of Eurotrash hoodies and sunglasses. And these are...
You're going to get a fucking magazine cut up ransom letter for those sunglasses soon.
These are Arnett, and they are limited edition. I love them so much. But
you could not tell me that those were more than $10 at a mobile.
These are like $700.
that blows my fucking mind.
But here's the thing. Look at the earpieces.
I've owned those sunglasses.
Look at the earpieces.
Are they chewed on?
They're chewed up. Because rich people don't care about anything. This motherfucker ordered 50 pairs of the same Van in the wrong size, and they sat in the entry. Van shoes.
Oh, I thought you meant like
50 Vans.
I was like, Jesus. He's like, I said 18-seater. Like, we don't have Vans that big.
He ordered 50 pairs of the same Van shoe in the wrong size, and they sat in the entryway until I facilitated their removal.
Isn't that kind of all relative, though? Because the amount of times I've purchased things online that don't fit and never send them back. I mean, it's just I'm doing it on a much smaller scale.
Y'all are ungrateful, because if something doesn't work for me, I take it to Whole Foods and send it right back to Amazon.
Yeah, I've got an Amazon Fresh down the street from my house, so I can walk there.
Yeah, I know that Amazon Fresh. So he was like, oh, I don't want any of this stuff. And there was like a solid gold Rolex and all this stuff. I didn't take that, but I wanted to because my friend had morals.
How did you get the sunglasses instead of the Rolex?
Because my friend had morals and I don't have any.
But he said he didn't want them.
I know, but still she had morals and I don't have morals. And so what I did was I took a pillowcase and just went through and just like my cleaning person got like $4,000 worth of sunglasses. My cousins got some things that I picked out because I knew they would hate them. Do you know how I love giving gifts to people I don't like very much?
Being at a rich person's goodwill.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. And by the way, the rich person's goodwill, the actual one, is on Lancashire in North Hollywood. It's where it's where all the rich people in Beverly Hills send their servants to drop off stuff they don't want anymore. A lot of stuff has price tags on it.
That's also where I drop all my stuff. So if you want any black clothes, they'll be there.
I went in there to buy a joke. She means black colored clothes, not clothes for black people.
What would clothes for black people? Like,
I don't know, but Isaac started laughing and it suddenly made me think.
I was confused about why he was laughing. I was like, I thought he was like, that's so funny. She does wear black all the time. I was like, whoa, the beatbox is getting to Isaac.
So here's the thing, though. So you know how the title of the podcast is locked and probably loaded? Yeah. I think this is definitely one, isn't it? Because I came in two glasses of wine deep.
Oh, you did?
I did. You couldn't tell it, but you probably will hear it on the listen back.
That's funny because since when do you drink wine? You've mentioned drinking wine now multiple days.
I drink wine.
I thought that was a joke.
No, I moved.
I wrote in my diary. I was like, haha, DJ made a funny joke. He said he was going to drink wine.
I moved to drinking wine this week when I was at Ralph's and saw 1.5 liters of Moscato for $6.75.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's why I drink boxed wine. Yeah, that was it's $14.99 for 35
And this was the
glasses.
end of it. And I looked at that wine and I was like, well, I'm here and you're here.
Yeah.
Should we get together?
Who would have thought?
So we did. And so I had 2 glasses left. So I just poured it into the cup that I left in your
that's
car.
what you were drinking.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So
Godspeed.
So I would like to just qualify this podcast by saying that the opinions expressed here do not directly reflect.
Yeah, they do.
Exactly.
Yeah,
they fucking do too.
I would fuck the hate out of Hitler.
Oh no. And that was the end of the show. Is it the end of the show? Oh, and that was the end of the show, Kelly. She wouldn't really fuck the hate out of Hitler. I put her in an uncomfortable position, unfair position that I would not answer myself. And what I mean by that is thank you guys so much for joining us. Our Patreon subscribers, we are almost paying for ourselves, which is amazing. And you're allowing us to do this.
And we're about to record, or we're about to jump on with our patrons right now to do a live podcast. So when this comes out, it'll be too late. But if you want to join us next month.
Yeah, we do a monthly live happy hour for our Patreon subscribers where we continue to imbibe and we talk about stuff that we wouldn't necessarily talk about on this, like waxing our asshole. No, so maybe there's nothing that we talk there so maybe it's not a good deal.
We actually on Patreon
feed.
We're more conservative. They're videos you can send to your parents. I'm just kidding. Patreon.com/loadedpod. No, we have a lot of fun there. Yeah, we do. Sure.
And there's a bunch of bonus content that we can't show you here.
Yeah, like when we went to PF Chang's, one of the funniest things DJ said at PF Chang's, because we realized that maybe the quality isn't as good as we remember. Like there was not a lot of flavor. And DJ's like, is flavor more expensive now? Like what's going on? But he goes, God damn it, PF Chang's, don't make me learn how to cook. And I was like, It
PF Chang's, no matter how flavorless you get, I will always follow you.
Hey, PF Chang's, quick question. What the fuck?
Exactly. But the Olive Garden, though, never disappoints. And I think we talked about this. We discovered the $7.
I think it disappointed us a little bit.
Did it?
I think the food did. You like the drinks.
Oh, yeah.
The food is kind of the main thing.
I don't remember that, but that does sound like me. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Sit on down and pour yourself a glass.
And tune into your favorite podcast,
where things will be misquoted
and opinions ain't sugar-coated.
'Cause DJ and Kelly are locked and probably loaded.